The station other radio stations think they really are. We are Boom Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Boombar on your Boom Radio NG, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria to the world. Welcome.
Welcome to the bar this very interesting afternoon. It is Friday. It is the TGF edition of Boombar. It is the first one of the year. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. In fact, we're going to be talking a lot of entertainment. There isn't that much of music that we're going to be talking about today, but we definitely will start the show with a lot of entertainment news. And would I say, yeah, a bit of entertainment and a lot of trending stories that, we're going to be having a bit of our takes on a lot of hot takes on a lot of things that have been trending all day on social media. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. There are a lot of security stories to look through. But like I said, it is Friday. So I think we would actually start with that, with a little bit of sports. Of course, for people that do not know, the Africa Cup of Nations is drawing close. I think it's in about 8 days, really. So yes, we're going to be talking a bit of that then before we dive into the rest of the stories for today. So today, a lot of things have been happening around the world and happening in Nigeria. One of the very interesting things that are happening in entertainment is the news that broke that a Nollywood movie finally got to grossed 1 billion naira. And I think that is huge. That is A Tribe Called Judah. That's Funke Akindele's movie. If you actually also look at it and at trajectory, she definitely would say is Nigeria's box office queen.
Most definitely, Funke Akindele. She's had a lifetime in the entertainment industry. But it's not because she's been there for so long. It's because she's good at what she does.
She's good at what she does. She's, I think her PR game is out of this world, because I think that it's all really it's all encompassing at the end of the day. It's one thing to be good. That the few movies you have watched before, you probably watched before and you're like, okay, why didn't this movie ever get really big? And it's a very good movie. Do you understand? So I think that it's a lot of things. She definitely knows how to work the system, or more make sure she knows how the system works for her, and she uses it to advantage perfectly. Very, very good. So kudos to her. It's a lot of work to be able to get to that point, especially when this movie came out at the end of the year, and there are actually a lot of movies that dropped around that same time as well. It's I think it's amazing. It's interesting how the movies that are really doing well in the cinemas at this time are actually a lot of movies produced by women. Kudos to them. It's not something that you see a lot, or not something that we knew a lot, but these days women are really what's it called? They're breaking the glass ceilings, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to actually see.
All right, so one other aspect of this news about Funke making box office is that she stands to make so much money.
Oh yeah.
Like a percentage of this total 1 billion and counting though, because they're not done.
Yeah.
It's coming to her. Say for instance, if it's gonna be just 1 billion, but I know she's gonna make more than that collectively, she's gonna get over half of that personally, as as return on investment.
Yeah, it's amazing.
When you factor in the cost of production and whatever arrangement she has with the movie theaters, taxes and all of that, she's still going to be
it's cashing out. It's more of the more money you make the more
So-
profit it is.
So that's one good thing. And why I wanted to play up the aspect of her making so much money is solely because of the journey of Nigeria's movie industry. You know, from the days of Baba Salah, the Hubert Ogun days, the Ade Loves of this world, who, and there's so many of them, but those three are the ones I can remember just off the cuff, who actually set the pace. You know, they made movies for the cinema. You know, there was this technology did not exist, so they made and it cost a lot, you know, to put those reels out and everything. And you had stories of how some of them lost money to pirates and all sorts of
Yes.
things. So we have come a long way from that. Kudos to the rebirth of Nollywood through neck movies when they made a movie and put it on a tape, on a VCR tape, and
Yeah,
before you know it,
they definitely have come. They definitely
Things-
have come a long way. It is not just, how would I say it now? It's not just a win for the owner of the movie. It's a win for Nollywood in itself. The fact that even as viewers, people have evolved to the point where people feel it is okay to actually go and watch movies in the cinema, spend your own money to watch these movies in the cinema, not just going to watch foreign movies.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are actually a lot more Nigerian movies at the cinemas as well. Theirs might not be doing as good as what's it called, as Funke Akindele's movies, but there's a lot of them are doing, at the moment they're doing about 200 million, they're doing 100 and something million. It still means that there's a large chunk of people that still feel that it is okay. And why I also like some of these things is that, especially women in the industry, I think that a lot of them have been labeled a certain kind of way about how the kind of things they do to make money and all. But it's very refreshing to see these same women do a lot, and you know that there's a lot of work that has been put in, that they're trying to stamp their authority in these things that even men will not do at the moment, can't pull off. They're pulling it off, and I think it's just amazing to watch. It's just beautiful to see.
So and another thing that I want to point out, which is why what Funke has achieved is a big deal, is that, you know, the story of how the Nigerian movie industry evolved, you know, because we can actually call it an industry now, evolved to the point where they're making box office. Before this time, a lot of productions were done on a shoestring budget. Before this time, a lot of productions were done even because it was a shoestring budget. Some people didn't get paid. A lot of people have gone through their careers and they didn't make anything, and apart from the fame, you know, they have the fame, they have the name,
But
they
it's
have
now that
nothing to show.
it's looking like it's actually
Nothing.
lucrative.
But now there's no way if Funke is going to do another production now and say she's doing part. She never does. She just does proper production. People like Kule, Afolayan, I forget, Kemi, Adetiba, you know. There are a lot of them now. Their productions are fully paid.
Top notch.
you know,
They're very,
fully
very
paid,
top notch.
good quality pictures, good storylines and everything.
But I also, like I said, I also really hope that we pay so much attention. Like you had said, that the industry has really moved in leaps and bounds. I also think that we should please pay a lot, as much as they've paid. They seem to have paid a lot of attention to production. They seem to pump a lot of money into. There's hardly any Nigerian movie, English or Yoruba or Hausa or whatever it is that you watch now, that you will know that it's good cameras, good, you know, it's good pictures, it's very nice. But I would actually also love that we also tell stories that are very wonderful.
So, you know, that's a very important one, because a friend of mine was talking about how people were asking him, non-Nigerians were actually talking to him one-on-one and asking, look, level with us. Do you guys do so much juju and muti and all of these things? I was like, no. But okay, so all these things that you say, he's like, no, it's just people's imagination. It's not like there are no people doing it, but that's not how it works in Nigeria. You could go years without coming across any form of juju or whatever. You could actually, so the storyline is also must, have a little bit more positive messages and all of that because you are this platform to use, so it's important that you do that. One other reason why Funke Akindele's achievement should be celebrated is the fact that now there are several ways to consume movies, to consume content. From your mobile devices, you have several streaming platforms. You have the free streaming platforms also. The YouTubes and some people put 1 hour plus videos on Twitter now.
Oh, yeah.
And people are watching it for free. So again, there are also some clandestine moves by people to put people's videos on what's this other social media app? This Telegram. They have Telegram movie channels, and people are watching these things, and it's actually not nice when you take people's work and just share it without them getting anything in return. So with all of these challenges, with all of these options and several technological advancements when it comes to consumption of movies, you're still able to make 1 billion naira at the box office. That's huge.
Massive. That is
if you even
massive.
if you convert to dollars, it is massive.
It is massive. That's nothing. There's actually nothing you can say about it. It is actually very massive. So kudos to her. Kudos to everybody that has that been on that production of that. You obviously deserve all the success that. I've not seen the movie, so I cannot totally say this was it. But of course, a lot of people have had to say a lot of wonderful things about it in and outside Nigeria. So let's move on from that. Before we leave Nollywood, as I talked about a few veterans, a lot of old people, a lot of people that are late now that really put a lot of their work, a lot of their lives into Nollywood. And one of them is the news that we heard this morning that he had passed. Funny enough, I didn't even know that. I thought he was way older than that. And this is the person of Deji Akinremi that people normally called Olofano. So this man passed away at the age of 73. And it's interesting that I remember watching this man in a few movies, a long time ago. Then all of a sudden, the past couple of years, it's actually been popping up in very, very nice movies, and not just your regular, rundown movies and all that. And it's actually very refreshing when you see these old people, and then they come back into very good productions, and that they're very, like, number one, they bring their expertise. Their acting is like up there, and then it's also refreshing that that for them to be in this kind of productions, they're definitely going to be paid properly for their expertise.
One of the things that I really liked about him, throughout his career was the way he promoted the Yoruba culture.
Yeah.
When you're talking about people who upheld the culture, in a world where we have been brainwashed and programmed to think that everything local, everything African, everything Nigerian is backward.
Yeah.
Now there's a reawakening, and there's this new awareness that it's not what they tell you, it's what you know. So people like Baba Olofano really did a lot in that area. I must say that he was going to be sorely missed about that, very vocal, very, very jovial, and, funny man. He was watching a video how he was talking about how he started, how he got into the movie industry. He used to work, in another industry entirely and everything. And it was interesting. The story that I saw, I think it was granting a radio station an interview where he said that the movie industry was so serious way back when that his wife had given birth and it was not allowed to go. It was not allowed to leave the set because the movie was so important that they were like, if you leave, you're out. And he looked at it and was like, nope, I can't put all of this effort and be out. So he asked one of his friends to go represent him and say, oh, what you going to name the... You just go and do what you have to, just go. And the guy went there and named his own son after himself, You know, so very interesting story that I picked there, and I said, "Oh my God, what an interesting
These
person
people
this
they
man
basically
was."
give their lives to the industry, and it's beautiful. It's just really beautiful, but it's kind of sad that they have to go. But going back to watch his works, it's just amazing. So we're going to move on from that, yeah, and we're going to be moving quickly to a few trending stories. So we're going to be going back and forth with trending stories. There are a few trending stories about drugs that we're going to be going back to. But this one is just for, just for gist. This particular set of ones is just for gist. Now, the first one that I'm going to be gisting you about is a particular tweet. Let me read the first tweet. This lady, Miss Madisha, says, there's a lady that wakes up at 5 a.m. to make her husband lunch for work. Then there is a reply that a lady replies this tweet and says, I've always been too lazy to wake up and get his lunch ready. But the day he told me a colleague brought 2 spoons so he will eat with her was the day I set my alarm for 4:50 a.m. So I'm guessing. By the way, this lady, I think, came out to talk about how she needed a fridge or something funny like that. And now there's a lot of people are sending her so much money and all that, which I'm actually very happy for her. You need money, you got it. It's beautiful. It's a good way to start the year. So there's been a lot of conversations for and against this conversation that why does she need to cook for her husband? What's wrong with cooking for your husband for lunch? What was the intention of the auntie that brought 2 spoons for her husband? Yeah, and there's a lot of would I say back and forth on that matter. And you wonder, okay, is it that serious? Because I feel that personally, number one, I'm more of a, to each his own, whatever floats your boat. But there is now the conversation is of that. What was the point of the auntie that brought 2 spoons for someone else's husband?
You're contradicting yourself, you and a lot of people who have asked this question, because you say you're more of a whatever works person, right? Whatever floats your boat. So
I'm talking from the angle of the husband and wife, the wife
getting food or not getting food. Yeah, that's why.
No, if you feel that it's okay to cook for your husband, go ahead.
So the man doesn't get food from the house, gets to the office, and a colleague gives him food. She brings a spare spoon. Why do people have a problem with it? It's food.
Obviously, his wife has a problem with
it. It's food.
Obviously, number one, his wife has a problem with it.
Why do
number
you have
one,
a problem
you know
with
why
it? Why should you have
number
a problem
one,
with that?
The wife has a problem with it, which, when you also really look at it, a part of me also feels that there's something else to it. Not because I'm trying to put her down or anything, but like you said, it's just food. I think I saw a tweet earlier in the day when another lady had talked about how she doesn't know what people run in their offices, but that when she brings food to work, she brings food for a lot of people. And she even has a colleague that had told his wife about how she brings food for them. And the woman sent a message to her that, please make sure you send my own. And she actually sent, another day, she actually sent food to her colleague's wife at home. So, when you really look at it, personally, I feel that it's just food. Now, there's a lot of people that are saying that the lady that brought 2 spoons, that's how it starts. And then next thing is she'll now say, what are we eating this week? All that kind of thing. Basically, people are insinuating that it's a subtle way of wanting to snatch her husband.
Well,
for me,
if they give him food or not, if it can be snatched,
exactly,
will be snatched.
That's also another angle. Food or not, a man that wants to be snatched will be snatched.
He might not even want to be snatched.
If you like,
but
cook all the food in this life.
The thing is that it's not even about if a man wants to be snatched. Let me speak for the guys here. It's about if somebody's going to be snatched, whether he wants. Do you know how many times people do things that they don't even know they're going to do, or they fall into stuff and all? So it's not even about that. It's just that if it's happening, it's happening, and it has nothing to do with food. Oh, those things might help create some kind of environment, enabling environment, and all of that. But trust me, if it's gonna happen, it's going to happen, and that's what it is. So people are just being dramatic about how a colleague gives. If it was a man that had been bringing food and 2 spoons, we won't have this discussion, right? If the guy is straight and they are both straight, Abi, that's what you're saying. You know, I saw another response from someone who was like, okay, well, if the husband demands that she cooks so that he doesn't fall in love with the colleague at work.
Uncle, say the truth. What's exactly your problem?
There's a lady that was saying this, that if the husband demands that she cooks so that he doesn't fall in love with the colleague at work, the husband too must perform very well in the bedroom so that.
What does that even? So is she planning to cheat?
So that she does not go out to get what she can't get from him. You know. So what she's saying is that I can't cook for you because you don't know how to do well, something like that. Because that's what she's saying. You know, like you're equating both situations, and when people say that, you know, the depth of their relationship is just peripheral. It's boyfriend girlfriend that mistakenly got married, because you cannot pin your long-term commitment to someone or lifetime commitment to someone on food. Or so these are some of the issues
make any sense,
that are flying around. But for me, I repeat over and over again that if that's what you want to do, you will do it with or without food. In fact, do you know how many men spend the money? They're the ones that are actually going actively after the next woman that they want to be with,
because
and they are married, and that person is not even, in fact, the person will treat them like trash. Treat them like, and they will still be there, like
they will still, they actually would.
It's not about food.
I think that the woman, I'm not trying to put her down,
go spoil.
It's a little bit of insecurity that you feel that because a woman says she brings spoon to work. Uncle, eat the food though, please. If it remains, bring for me. Really and truly, if you think that it is okay to actually make food for your husband, please go ahead. But I don't think that your insecurity should be what will push you, because the truth is that I also feel that it's not something that you are used to. After a while, it will stop again, and then what happens then?
One of the biggest problems that people will have in their relationships, either as married people or single people or dating people or whatever, is using other people's standards and lifestyles to judge your own. Mm-hmm. I like this Yoruba saying, a popular one that says that all fingers are not equal, dogba. That all fingers are not equal, but they are all fingers still, and every finger has what it's doing. For you, the person who owns the body. So why am I saying this is that reference that Dolupo had made. I want to break it down further now. You look at some people and the husband is okay with actually waking up to cook for the family. And he's not complaining. He's not doing it out of... He's not even doing it out of having no options. He's doing it out of the fact that this is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So if you now take
people's
that person's
acts of
husband,
service, exactly, is
if you take that
basically
person's
showing
husband,
love to them.
then you now go and face your own husband.
You're not vexing.
You're your own. Because your husband doesn't cook. There are other things that he's probably doing that person's husband would never do. So let us not use everybody else's standards. You need to work out, like they say, work out yourself. So work out your own relationship things too.
Exactly.
It's at the end of the day, everything falls into place.
But the truth is that before people, misconstrue it, there's really nothing wrong in cooking for your spouse or your family or whatever it is. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I just feel that we should do it for the right reasons. That's where. But like Ezra said, anybody that wants to eat anything, or no matter what you cook, no matter what you do, anybody that wants to spoil. It's not your food that is going to hold him down. Let's get that one straight. Anyway, moving on from that, moving on to another one that has to concern food. Before we go back to the gist that we had planned today, another gist that is trending. In fact, it's trending at number 1 is because of 8K. So people might not be wondering, like, what is it? So a lady tweets. I don't know if it's innocently or sounds like it was kind of malicious, because if we look at the progression, she tweets, "I hate being on a table with a guy that calculates everything. If you don't have money, stay at home, please. It is effing embarrassing." Before I move on to the next stage, where apparently there's a reply to that, I first thought that we should address this. So, not once or twice has this happened to me personally. I know SRA told me about this happening to him as well. How you go to a bar or you go to a restaurant and they miscalculate stuff for you. And most of the time, 99% of the time, you are overpaying, you are not underpaying. Keep in mind. So, especially if you have had experiences like this, I do not think that it is out of place. Especially if you are in a high-end place. I don't think there's anything in this world wrong with calculating when you are brought a bill. I think we do too much big manism in this country. And it's not about having the money or not having the money. It's just accountability. See, before I used to be the kind of person that if my 100, I leave it. But after a while, I think maybe as I got older, I just had this mentality that is my money. Funny enough, or you go to supermarkets or something, and then maybe you have like 200 or 100 naira or 300 naira left. They'll tell you don't have change. They don't have change. But they will never give you that change, extra money. But you are the one that always has to leave your own money for them. And it got to a point, I'm like, you know what? I'm never leaving my money for these people. If I want to give you a tip, I'll give you a tip. That's different. It took a while for me to get into the group. Maybe you say that, okay, maybe when you start making your own money, you start understanding these things more. But I just got angry one day, like, you know what? I'm not giving anybody my money. If I want to give you, let me give you from the goodness of my heart. So I don't know why anybody would be attacked for wanting to check how to spend their money.
Well, again, it speaks to this new craze of everybody trying to tell you how to live your life and trying to dump on you their so-called pseudo standards. I use the word pseudo loosely and freely, but seriously, everybody has, one kind of level. Oh, if you don't have money, stay in your house and everything. Auntie, you don't need a guy to go out.
Exactly.
You don't need a guy.
If you don't want to, you shouldn't have.
You want to go out, pick your card, jump into your ride or order one and spend your money on yourself. But you're not complaining about a guy
who's spending his own money.
Who's spending his money?
Or you.
And this are the stupid things that they do.
Okay, you're angry now.
Honestly, because you're trying to create some kind of scenario, a classism.
Yeah.
But you don't even have that class.
It doesn't even make any sense. Like
you don't
I said,
even have it.
If you have experienced how people have inflated your bills over and over again, then you will not say such a thing. Now, let's move from that and let's carry the conversation a little higher. As a particular person, okay, so this person is at Simply Gaming. So another guy who is by the handle of Code Render replies this tweet and says, to start with, at Simply Gaming, we both know the date idea was yours. Proof day. Or you thought I wouldn't see this. The whole bill was 68K. I paid 60K and asked you to add 8K. Obviously, your problem isn't recalculating the bill. It's the 8,350 you added. My guy, don't tell say you dey gba already. Na me mess up.
I respect this guy 100%, because again, there are different ways to do these things. I was hanging out with a couple of friends many years ago in Surulere, and when I just noticed that whenever this particular set of guys, whenever we went out, the bill was on me. Whenever the bill was on me, so I kind of cut them off for a while. So I was just passing through their neighborhood, dropped by to say hi. And like, what's up? How you? Oh, let's go out and get and stuff. I'm like, nah, except you guys are buying. They're like, no, now don't worry, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And I agreed, and we went. We even didn't stay in their neighborhood. We went to another place, hung out there, 4 of us, and because I had other things to do, it was a Friday, and I'm like, you know what, guys?
You know what? I'm the first person to stand up.
I gotta go. I'm going, and the guy goes, I should chill, that they should bring the bill, that they will leave too. And I'm like, okay, fine. No problem.
Okay.
So they bring the bill, and they push the bill to me.
Okay, so that's the reason why they asked you to chill.
So I looked at them, and I'm like,
nope.
Didn't I tell you guys that the bill was on you? This is boys now, us boys. Oh, didn't I tell you guys the bill was on you? They're like, hey now, yeah, you be chairman. Now me be chairman.
You will wash plate
The
today.
the sad part about it was that I didn't have that amount on that bill. So I went to the owner of the place and said, you know what? Give them another round of drinks. I am coming. You know? So I dropped some money with the person that I just wanted to do a few things. So the person was relaxed. He actually did give them another round. I had to take a bike home to go get cash and come back to bail these idiots out because there was no way they would let them leave, but they didn't know.
So why wasn't it okay for you to go?
That was the last time they saw me.
No.
That was no.
I will not pay.
No, we're different people. You're not me. I'm not you. What I did was they sent forth for them, like, and this was 20-something years ago. I'm like, 20K. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? That's the end of it. So this is us boys. So not to talk of when you take a woman out and you don't have enough money. I have seen people. I've actually overheard a guy get up. You know, I was walking into a joint and he was calling people like, that he needs this amount to make up his bill. So it happens at times. That
so the truth is,
fall short of cash.
I think that first things
so
first.
he asked you for help.
We need to address.
And
we need to address.
Nonsense.
We need to address this issue. I think that even if a lady, this is just my own perspective. Even if a lady is the one that comes up with the idea of the date, I think personally that as the guy, if you are planning to pay for the date, which I think it's a Nigerian thing, yeah, that we just almost expect the guy to pay for the date, except there was a conversation where the babe says, I'm taking you out. Most of the time, we're almost just expect the guy to pay. I think on the guy's side, why not take her somewhere that you know you can conveniently afford, just to avoid this kind of things, number one.
So when a man
number two
can pay 60K, you don't think he has taken out to a place where he can afford?
That's what I'm saying. Like, let me finish. Number two, you as the lady, there's something that we learned in uni that we call vex money. And vex money is when you have a certain amount of money when you're going out with a date. You do not eat past what you have in your pocket. That is the second part to it. A third part is a guy that takes you somewhere in this Lagos, in this our economy, and your bill is 68,000. Please, what are you eating? Anyway, Sha, there are places that are expensive here, so I will not, what's it called? Personally, I'm not a fan of all this fine dining dates and all that. It's not my thing. But if a guy is okay enough to spend 60,000 naira, if I were in her shoes, obviously she paid the money, you should have at least 30,000 in your pocket, yeah? And he asked you, it's a 68,000 naira bill, and he asked you to pay 8,000 naira. I do not think that it is so much of a big deal that you have to come to the TL to rant about it, or rant about the fact that he was rechecking his bill, because according to her, that's the one that is irking her. I do not see how people get angry. I know that maybe I didn't have this mentality a few years ago, but as one gets older, you just get, I don't know if it's maturity or something. You cannot determine how people will spend their money. You can't be angry that someone is rechecking a bill. You're not the one paying for it. A guy wants to pay 60,000 naira. The least he can do is be sure that he's paying for what you said he paid for, what we did. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but how come we have suddenly made it into a thing? A man in this economy, like I said, that is okay because really and truly, 60,000 naira is not an investment. It's just hangout money. Yeah. And is comfortable enough to drop 60,000 naira in one sitting. Is not a broke person.
We have even look. We're boys and we know what we do for ourselves. We've had friends in that situation who would ask for a bailout because they don't want their date to know. But at times it depends on the kind of relationship that you have or you're trying to build. I look at what that guy did and I look at it from a different angle. I'm looking at it like he must really, really like her, and he didn't want to pretend around her to say, you know what?
Yeah.
Look, see. I can't cover this bill. I have 60,000. There's 8K 350 left. Can you cover that? Then you knew you were not going to. Why did you say yes? Because at that point in time, if you had said to him, no, I don't have it, but I can't do it, and or you be bold enough to tell him what you went to write. Tell him to his face, no, I don't like it when people do what you do. And I'm sure the guy will just say, don't worry about it. And he will find a way around it. He will call his boys up. And people will come through for him. Or maybe another girl that is his friend self. And she will come through like, Omo, I'm stuck somewhere. I took this baby out, blah, blah, blah. You see, because it's the way you build your relationships that matter. And there's something called financial compatibility that I like to talk about. So, in that scenario, it will be hard for this guy. And you're judging him based on now. You don't even know what's going to happen to this guy in the next 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 days, or 2 months, or 2 years down the line. You don't know.
See,
you don't know
a man that
thing.
even has 60K to drop for you, he must like you a lot.
There's a comment here from Kolame Dubi. She says, go to where you can afford.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Date or no date.
Thank you very much. That's me. Like,
So,
see, because of also the kind of society that we're in, I'm not blaming the guy. I'm just saying that from the get, there is no need. See, it's obvious. Okay, maybe we'll say that he didn't know, right? There is no need to you to be carrying this kind of babe to that kind of a restaurant. I'm sorry. There is no need. Because why do we feel that? And it is the entitlement for me.
There are some ladies that live off this thing. This is how they live. You know, they have several men that they are talking to or that are talking to them. And they schedule different men on different dates for different dates.
Sounds very hungry.
I know them. We've come across them before. Then when it's your turn on the roster, they'll always buy takeaway. Always. Trust me, standard practice. Oh, so today it's fish and chips. They definitely take. Oh, my roommates, it's a lie. That's your breakfast tomorrow. You know, so it's always the ones that don't have class though that do these things. I'm telling you for free. You know, because at times, you know, women also say that men bottle up a lot of things. So this is a guy opening up to you at this stage of a relationship that you're about to have one way or the other. Because dating, you got most dates, 97.99% of dates are about dating, not just the food. You're both sizing each other out. Once someone takes you out, you think it's about and at that stage you already said you're hungry. So, and the guy goes, well, I was going to live with it before.
I don't know what we're talking about though. I really honestly don't know why we're where we are. It just sounds like a lot of women are just hungry, and it really used to hurt my feelings.
A lady made a video December. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think she jackpot, you know, to the UK or something, and she's like missing Nigerian men. That a friend or a colleague asked her out on a date. She went, and when the bill came, the guy pushed the bill to her to say, "Pay your part. This is my part." She made a video, and I laughed. Like, oh yeah, this is what we spoiled you guys with in Nigeria. Yeah, now go and face it now. It's called going Dutch.
It's actually a thing. That's what I'm saying, that it's actually a thing. Like, I don't even know how I'm not even sure this kind of women would say that they want to take men out. I don't know why people don't do it. Like, it's actually not a bad thing to actually decide, okay, I want to take this person out. If you, like, for me, the whole concept of you hanging out is who pays is who the idea of the date came from. According to this guy's narration, the date was her idea. So, pay for it.
I've been out with my boys before.
Pay for it.
And
if it's your idea, pay for it.
The
one that is feeling hungry.
This was before I got married. I've been out with my boys before. We're hanging out from place to place, and we had some ladies with us, and they were all bankers. All of them worked in different banks. There were about, on our party, I think there were about 7 guys, and there were about 8 ladies. So we're hopping from place to place. It was leading up to someone's wedding. So at the third place that we went to in VI, the ladies were like, guys, don't try to pay for anything here. And they brought out their cards, and there was drinks on the table. I remember that day with a lot of relish. Like, yeah. So there are actually women like that. They exist who are not looking for someone that has to spend their hard ends or kill themselves. But I like the concept of staying within your means. But I think that's what the guy wanted to do.
Exactly.
But the 8K extra could have been some funny thing that babe even ordered.
This kind of babe, you're just hungry. And the funny thing is that if you actually go on Twitter and you see a lot of things that a lot of girls are saying, I'm like, you people are just showing that you're hungry people. Because if you are actually mature people, if you really work for your money, you would appreciate in this economy, and I don't even think it's just Nigeria, in this economy, you would appreciate that someone is okay to spend their own hard-earned money on you. I think that it's not beans. It's not beans, but here we are. We just have to be, whatever it is we want to be. But we definitely would follow a lot more of these stories. A lot of these gist, will be bringing them back to you little by little. Now, we're moving on from that. Just wanted to put some stories out there as President Tinubu has appointed new executive directors for the Nigerian Ports Authority and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. I'm sure NIMASA sounds more like it, than what put. Also, the Minister of Defense, Bello Matawale, has also presented high-tech unmanned water vessels to the president. The pictures of him presenting that, and I think it's actually it's way to go. We do not even have enough manpower, so the less manpower that is needed for some of these things, it just makes it good. Sorry. Also, there's news from NNPCL saying that Port Harcourt Refinery will complete its test run this month. Also, security operatives have arrested 8 suspects over Plateau Christmas Eve killings. Now, the interesting part of this is that when you hear most of the stories, you never hear that there's any arrest that is ever made or anything after that. But there's a new turn of events, as it has been said that women of this town of Bokos, local government, have gone to burn down the house of the traditional ruler, saying that, literally calling him a snitch. And my question is, what do you people want?
Well, maybe they know something that we all don't know.
So they need to talk.
They're the ones that live there.
I don't think.
So.
I think in the past couple of days they've seen too much violence for them to continue. Like, it just.
Well, I'm not going to look at it like that.
It doesn't even make any sense. I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask the authorities to invite them. Mm-hmm. Although of course now they've committed a crime. So whatever laws that want to kick it, let it kick in. But these women might know.
They
something.
have a reason. Yeah,
they might it might just be out of anger. Maybe they are lashing out.
Yeah.
Or they might know.
They might know something.
That look, this attack could have been prevented if the traditional ruler had done this or that, or maybe he was even the one that looked the other way, or he was the one that aided and abetted the people who were behind this attack. So maybe they do know something. There's always something around all these communal clashes.
Yeah.
There's always a
There's
story
always
behind
a story behind the story.
It's
Yes,
not
I
just
agree.
the violence. The violence is a tool.
It's just an aftermath. There's
you know,
always
that they
something.
use.
There's always something, and I get it. I think I get it, and we hope that security agencies actually look through these things. Now let's move on from that, and let's move on to another very interesting story, where the NDLEA have now raised alarm. Okay, before we get to that, the Kaduna branch of the NDLEA has seized the assist 13.6 tons of illicit substances in the year 2023, and they made about 1,005 arrests in the year 2023. I think that is kudos to them. I hope that they do more of it. I'm not sure I want to see the figures coming from Lagos State. It's going to be amazing. But anyway, just wanted to put that out there. But before we leave the issue of drugs, the NDLEA has also now raised alarms of how there is a rise in the use of human urine, lizard dung, and camel urine to get high. I have a question. Question. Now, this is just Nigeria. There are actually other stories I'm going to be talking about. But before we move on, I have just one question. Human urine, yes, we could say that is easily gotten. People will probably even use their own urine. I don't think it should be that difficult. How do people recognize lizard dung? Or how many camels do you see around that you are collecting camel urine? This is madness, pure daylight madness. Lizard dung, how?
We have a big problem on our hands. We have a big drug problem on our hands, and it's getting worse. Now, the thing is that, you know, a couple of years ago, the drugs were imported and branded in some cases, you know, and people would buy them. But now, people want to get high without spending money or spending too much money, regardless of the effects that it will have on their health. It's that high, that immediate high that they are after. So there was a time when it was Evo stick, you know, the gum that they used to stick leather and wood together. They would sniff off it. Then it was petrol at some point. At some point, it was the fumes from your soak away. People were doing that, trust me. It's crazy. Anything to get high. And you wonder, what is this high about indeed? Because how high do you go? Do you stay high perpetually? You still come down and crash.
You will still
even
come
lower
down though.
than you were high.
It's sad, yeah.
So we have a big problem.
It's a very
on
big
our
problem.
hands. It's a big problem.
Now,
And we cannot saddle the NDLEA alone with this.
it's a collective
call to action for all of us. Be on the lookout for all these people. Be a snitch.
Yeah, I think at this point we definitely need. Now, still talking about drugs. We're leaving Nigeria and we're going all the way to Sierra Leone, where there's a video of a report. Sorry, I don't know why that popped up. There is a report where you would not believe it, that they're talking about one of the most, would I say, it's kind of dumb. I'm sorry, but it's kind of dumb. One of the most ridiculous things I've heard in recent times. And it is how people are stealing bones of dead bodies and mixing it with all sorts of things that they call kush, and they're getting high on it.
In Sierra Leone, it is said that over 1,000 graves have been defiled. You know,
How?
we forget that in a few years' time, I don't know how long you're going to live for. If you're lucky, that will be you in a grave, you know, resting in peace. When someone dies, they write it there, R.I.P., rest in peace. You know, the body should rest because the soul is gone.
Yeah.
But now, people's bodies are being dug up and burnt, and because some people want to get high off bones. It's one of the goriest things that I've ever heard in my entire existence. It is one of the craziest things I've heard of, and you can't begin to think of a solution to this one. Like you always say, "Oh, we look for this one." There is no. Look.
It doesn't make
I
any
give up.
sense. Like,
I give
what
up.
are you people doing? I swear, like, what?
I give up because it's mad. You go into a cemetery, defile a grave, pick out someone's bones, then burn it up and smoke it
Like,
because you want to get high. High by burning bones of people who have died.
I don't know what
Because
people,
you're gonna live forever, Adi.
I don't know
Okay.
what people are thinking about.
Continue.
But it's safe to say that it is madness. We're not going to continue
The
like
law
this.
enforcement people in Sierra Leone have their job cut out for them.
And there are videos of
They
people
need
bodies like
to set traps for these people.
cemeteries getting broken down. It doesn't make sense.
They need
now.
to set
Can we
traps for
just-
them.
Can we not stop this nonsense? It's just ridiculous, really. It is very ridiculous. But anyway, before we leave,
disgusting.
there are actually a lot of stories we're going to talk about. Also, but we might not be able to get through everything. Also, Lagos State has issued travel advisory. People need to look out for third mainland bridge closure is going to be next week. I think it's 9th. It's going to start from the 9th of January. People also need to look at it. Also, due to that, they are talked. The Lagos State is promising better ease of traffic. Since the red line is coming on. They say the red line is coming on, but very soon the Okpebi Link Bridge is almost done, according to them. And there are also 15 new jetties that are...
Okpebi Link Bridge.
Sorry, the Okpebi... yes, now it's Okpebi...
There's an Okpebi Link
Yes,
Bridge.
there's an Okpebi Link Bridge,
Oh,
but
you're referring to the
new
Ojota
bridge, the Ojota
axis of
yes,
Okpebi.
the new bridge that they're building. So yes, so we hope that people use a lot more of those things.
Trust me, those things will not do anything for the traffic that Third Mainland is going to cause. Because you see, all those Okpebi and stuff, you still go back
Yeah,
to
because it actually doesn't
Ikorodu
affect
Road.
everybody. It
It
actually
goes
does.
back to
They
Ikorodu
all,
Road.
yeah.
Third Mainland.
Maybe the waterways might.
They don't have that. If they had enough boats and ferries and stuff, that's what they'll be talking about. You understand? So it's gonna be hellish.
It's gonna be hellish.
Let's not fool ourselves about this. So the idea is that you limit the way you try to shuttle Lagos Island and Lagos Mainland.
Yeah. Quickly, good news. As an 80-year-old woman was pulled from rubble in Japan today, 72 hours after the earthquake. Sadly, there's still over 200 people that are still missing. But I think this kind of news actually also gives hope to not just the people, but the rescuers, that they're just not rescuing to look for dead bodies. I think this is amazing. It's amazing, amazing news after 72 hours for someone that old. Now, moving on from that, let's quickly talk a little bit about AFCON. AFCON is going to start in about 8 days' time. It's in about 8 days. So there are a lot of things to talk about. First things first, the Super Eagles are in their camp already. I think most of them are already in camp in Abu Dhabi. Also, there's news that President Tinubu has also doled out $1.3 million for the Super Eagles. I think that is beautiful. If
The 1.3 million, was it from his pocket or from the coffers of the federal government?
I'm guessing maybe it's for the...
I would like to have some clarity on that, but it's really never happened before in recent times. It used to happen way back when the Eagles would not have money problems. But in the last many years,
Yeah.
there's always been this embarrassing
Yeah,
situation.
and then it's the NFF. So at least the NFF cannot say that they don't have money.
You know, but I also hope that money gets to all
Gets
the
to
people that
them.
it should get to.
That's very, very interesting. Also, before we leave the issue of AFCON, and AFCON we're moving on from Super Eagles, and there's an interview that's granted that has gotten a lot of people talking, the Liverpool coach, where he talked about how he's not sure he's wishing Egypt good luck, and he hopes that Egypt drops out in the group stage, even though that conversation, a lot of people are not checking what he said all the way. He's still talking about how he still actually did talk about how he knows that they're actually good and they probably might go on to win it, so good luck. But where he's coming from is the fact that his star player, Mohamed Salah, is off for AFCON. He's playing for Egypt.
It's not the first time Klopp has been quoted, either rightly or wrongly, about the AFCON. The rest of the world has come to accept that Africa is going to have a way when it comes to, this football
I'm
tournament.
sure
and
Napoli is going
everything.
to miss the likes of, the likes of Victor Osimhen. A lot of people are really going to miss a lot of people due to AFCON at this point, especially when a lot of leagues at the moment, this is a very crucial time for them. But it is what it is. But we will see where all that goes to. Shout out to a lot of people on that note. Moving on from that, okay, I think we can actually take a few more stories.
Yes, we can.
Okay, now moving on from that, and we're going all the way to Germany. So there's a story about how farmers are actually very angry and they're protesting, and their protest is a very interesting one where they're using tractors, they're blocking the roads with their tractors, putting a lot of debris on the road. And in fact, the last one was that they actually blocked a ferry that was there was a jetty that was there was a ferry that a minister was coming in with his wife, I think after holidays or something, and he couldn't get off the boat because they had blocked it off for hours, and he had to go back, and in fact had to come back in the middle of the night when they had left. And it is obvious that these farmers are holding the country to ransom. Now, what are they angry about? According to the stories, they're saying that they want to cut off subsidy on diesel specifically for agricultural use.
Yeah, the truth is that any government that is serious about food security would subsidize farming. In America and other places, the subsidies in place for farmers. As much as they tell you remove subsidy here and there, when it comes to farming, agriculture, there's subsidies in place, and so now they don't want the removal of this because it's going to affect their business, it's going to affect them, and it will eventually make the cost of food go up. Now, in a regulated country like Germany, where prices cannot be fixed anyhow, like whose country I'm not going to mention, you would know that they have to fight for these things so that it doesn't get bad. And it always has a ripple effect across the world, even beyond the Germany and co that are fighting for this subsidy to still remain in place for farmers to be able to, buy diesel and other things at a very good price. So I like to say that, do you ever hear about farmers protesting? No, you don't. So if they have to come out, listen to them. Everybody will suffer.
Everybody would suffer. Now, another conversation that everybody's having is today, actually, a former Olympian, I would say, former Paralympian, has finally been released from prison after about 11 years, after spending 9 years in prison for shooting and killing his girlfriend. That's the person of Oscar Pistorius, and everybody's been talking. A lot of people have been talking about it, about should he have got it released yet.
Well, the definition of justice is funny. The world has different things about justice, but I just wonder how someone loses her life, and the person who killed her is alive, and there's nothing after 9 years. It's free to be anything he wants to be, but she's gone, and she's gone forever. The definition of justice is something that eludes me. I don't understand it.
But it is what it is. It is what it is. Any which way we'll be going, we'll be leaving now. But there's a story that I hope that by Monday a lot of things will pop up. And it is the story of the issue with the NSIPA lady that was arrested, and how there are rumors of a lot of people being named in this conversation. But there's still rumors. So maybe we're not going to have a conversation around it until there's actually like concrete evidence and all that. So we're going to be talking about, hopefully there'll be talks about it. And also finally, there are not a lot of very popular people that released music this year. It's not, maybe people are still, trying to gather themselves. But one quick mention that I wanted to say was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song is the person of Zinoliski. Zinoliski released Sonia Day, and I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. It was a very, I won't call it him throwing shades. I don't think he was throwing shades. It was more of an explanatory song. Of course, we all know a lot of issues and allegations around him with Mohbad's death and all that. But I think it's a beautiful song. If you have time, please go and check it out. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And on that note, we will be back again on Monday to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for always being there. We will be back again. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.